Jesus spoke more of hell than anybody else in the Bible. And he used the most grotesque language for it. He called it outer darkness. He called it the gnashing of teeth. He called it torment. He called it unquenchable fire. He called it eternal punishment. So for Jesus, it is eternal, it's conscious, and it's horrible. And the point I want to make as we close is that Jesus connects the most practical, earthy command to that. He connects them. Whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so to them means that we will care about every kind of suffering that we meet on this planet. Right? I mean, I hope nobody disagrees with that, because if you see some suffering, you know in the bottom of your heart, you know every part of your heart, you don't want that. So, if you don't want that to happen to you, then you can't want it to happen to anybody else. This is crystal clear. Verse 12 commits us to caring about all suffering we meet. And not just caring, look, I'll care and see you later, but movement. So, there we have in verse 12, Christians care about all the suffering they run into. They care, and they move, and they act, and they risk, and they deny, and they're generous, and they're joyful, and they're hopeful. And then comes verses 13 and 14. And he brings up the issue of hell and heaven, life and destruction. In other words, there is a worse suffering coming. I don't care what you see on this earth. There's a worse suffering coming. The suffering in this life is terrible, unspeakable, would make you throw up or scream and hit your head against a brick wall. You would faint. And there is something infinitely worse coming. It lasts forever. That's what Jesus brings up after verse 12. So I conclude, suffering in this world is terrible and limited, but suffering in the next world is terrible and eternal. Love sees it that way. Love sees it that way. Love is a realistic impulse. May your love increase with knowledge and all discernment, Paul prayed. Love reckons with the reality of suffering here and the worse reality of suffering there. Love does. Love does. If love puts his head in the sand with regard to suffering here, it isn't love. If love puts its head in the sand with regard to suffering eternally, it isn't love.